So glad you came out once again. We are joined, as always, by Greg Engert, beer director for the Neighborhood Restaurant Group, which includes such places as Rustico, 2 locations, Alexandria and Ballston, also Evening Star Cafe and Planet Wine in the Del Rey neighborhood. Greg, a James Beard Award nominee. Good to see you.
Too.
What have we got on tap this week?
So I thought that it'd be a good time to go local, and we're talking about Devil's Backbone Brewing Company out in Virginia today. This is a really cool local brewery, and one that really does the local scene proud, because they are one of the most awarded craft brewers in the United States over the last few years. This brewery actually won Small Brew Pub of the Year back in 2010 at the Great American Beer Festival, which is a huge thing for them. And they've continued to do really well. And what's really great too is that they concentrate on more delicate, restrained lagers and things like that. Things that are not as sexy in the beer industry today. You know, they're not coming out left and right with imperial IPAs and barrel-aged sours and things like that. They really focus on the classics, and that's a testament to Jason Oliver, who's the brewmaster at Devil's Backbone. They were originally a little brew pub, and they still are, and then they built a larger production facility, and from that they have a host of beers that they serve year-round, and one of them is the Vienna Lager that we're tasting today. So this is simply called Vienna Lager, an amazing beer, and even better because of its locality and its freshness.
It's got the great gold color, like Great Lakes Dortmunder gold.
Yep.
I love IPAs, but I'll never get tired of a great lager. Never,
this is very, very aromatic, very complexly malted. They have a very complex mash procedure to get the grains to speak this way in the beer. Vienna lagers are wonderful. They are, lagers. They're crisp, refreshing, and they utilize a majority of their malt use is called Vienna malt. And it's what lends this awesome kind of toasted, fresh, bready quality that we find in the beer. And I said earlier, it's great because it's local. We talked a lot about local versus, further afield domestic production and imports and things like that. And many beers do travel well. So you don't just drink local because it's local, especially because you want to drink great beer, not just something that's locally made, maybe not as great. So that's a key point. But there are certain styles that are just superb when they're locally brewed and locally brewed well. And lagers, crisp, refreshing beers of any kind, like Kolsch's and American Blonde Ales, Pilsners, those just are absolutely fantastic when they're locally brewed. And also, IPAs and pale ales and things like that. So the great aromatic quality of the malt here is because it's local. A similar kind of beer brewed overseas and then shipped here, oftentimes it show a little bit of an oxidized, almost like cardboard or papery quality. Because it takes so long. No, it's not as good. And you get it. It's a telltale sign every time. In the nose, it's kind of this papery, almost newspapery note. When you get something like this, it's brewed so fresh, you don't have to worry about that. So this is something that's great. And because of the awards, not only has the brewery been awarded, but this beer itself has won, I think it won silver at the GABF in 2009. Just this year, it won gold at the World Beer Cup, or just last year, 2012, out in San Diego. So this is a beer that's sought after, and what's cool for us is that you don't see it outside of our area. So this is something that people are trading for online and trying to get their hands on, and yet we have it in pretty great abundance.
Now, this temperature, is that about right for this? Because it's not mouth-freezing cold.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times you're going to see it that way. Most places will serve every single beer, be it in draft or bottle, at around 37 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature designed to make, to optimize the taste of macro brewed lagers, because they're just supposed to be kind of fizzy, crisp, refreshing, yellow lagers. So that
when
temperature is great.
10.
Right, and that's just about being cold and crisp and intensely refreshing and effervescent. But beers like this that are crisp and refreshing, you don't want to rob them of that refreshing quality, so you're not going to serve this at 50 degrees. But serving it around 42 degrees, which is the temperature at which we serve these styles of beer at Church Key, Birch and Barley, is great. It maintains that effervescence, but it still allows that beautiful malt complexity and nuance to come through in the nose.
Yeah, if you haven't been here before and downstairs, just seeing the system of beer lines, which are at different temperatures, right, it is fascinating.
It's really
now,
cool.
If you've never been to Wintergreen, Devil's Backbone, they're right at the base of the hill going up to Evergreen.
Yeah.
There's also Blue Mountain out there brewery, and they're fantastic in my opinion. So it's worth a trip to go out there at least for a day and check these
great
guys out.
wineries, great breweries.
Right. Not that far to go.
Yeah.
And this is a great lager, but they make a great IPA too. I love their 8 point.
8 points, fantastic. And they make a ton of different seasonal and occasional beers. Danzig, their Baltic Porter, is one of my favorite Baltic Porters around. And actually, it'll be coming out again, hopefully pretty soon. So it's just a great thing. And you're right. I mean, this is, beer tourism's up. People love going to visit breweries. I know you do as much as I do. And
shows, unfortunately.
And we have this great. We have of course we have the DC breweries now. DC Brown, 3 stars. But then going out to Virginia, this little area, it's a great trip. You can hit up Blue Mountain, you can hit up Devil's Backbone. They're right near each other and not far away. So really a great local find.
Yeah, you mentioned 3 stars, and I was there on a recent Saturday and talking with Dave. And you and I have talked about this on Beer of the Week before about beer volunteering, or you could call it beer interning. But I'm sometime going to go hang out at 3 stars one day and just carry stuff around for them and help brew beer.
It's fun.
It sounds like
and believe me, craft brewers are always looking for interns.
Cheap labor.
Yeah, cheap labor. So
who isn't?
It is a cool thing, and it's a cool opportunity. And like you said, like Dave over at 3 stars and Brennan and Jeff at DC Brow are wide open for that, and they always love. And it's cool too because they'll let you get right involved with the brewing and whatever else is happening. You can really understand what's going on, and they're pretty generous, I think, with a few beers for your troubles as well.
Just stay home if you have a cold, all right?
Right.
What would you pair this with?
So one of the reasons I want to talk about this beer is that it is so amazing with everything. This is kind of one of those standard beers that if you have this on hand and you're doing any kind of food pairing, it's going to work 99% of the time because it's delicate enough, so it's not going to overwhelm some of the more delicate flavors on the plate, but it's not bereft of flavor. It's got that beautiful toasted sweetness. And this comes from the making of the malt. The way the malt is dried gives it this kind of toasty, almost caramelized quality. It's the same thing you see when you grill vegetables, right? You kind of toast and caramelize the exterior, or when you roast pork or sear poultry or anything like that. You're going to encourage the same kind of toasted caramelized sweetness we find in this beer. So something that's kind of milder but has those sweeter qualities from the cooking is going to be fantastic. But then at the same time, this is great for spicy food. Effervescence to wash away the heat, sweetness to balance against the spice, and then just taking it back to the Vienna, Austrian, Germanic roots of the style. All kinds of sausages are also going to be great with this.
Wiener Schnitzel.
That's right.
I'm thinking about
that as well.
In our final minute, by the time this report airs, spring training will be underway for the Nationals in some form, and that makes me think of Nationals Park, and that makes me think of Blue Jacket, which is right a block
Stone's
or
throw,
two away.
yeah.
Literally a baseball's throw away from the park. What is the status of the spring opening? So
it's looking fantastic. We continue to brew collaboration beers with all of our friends. We've done 15 different collaboration beers right now. We've got a number coming out soon, beers that we brewed back in the fall. We'll be getting here. The beers we brewed in Belgium with De La Seine and Destruso should be coming up soon. We're brewing another beer with Mad Fox coming up soon as well, and much more on the plate. So we're still busy with our collaborations, but the Neighborhood Restaurant Group is excited to announce that it's definitely still on track for this time. That's always the concern with openings, is that they're going to get delayed. So we're looking at late spring, maybe inching into early summer, but I would say May, June would be a great time. And it's cool too if you happen to be down around the Navy Yard area and you're just kind of wandering around. Take a look at the space, the Blue Jacket space. It's right on 4th and Tingy, and you can see, because it's a glass building, a lot of the equipment's already arrived. So all of the 21 different fermenters have come in. We're waiting on our brew house right now. We built in these beautiful mezzanines, and the concrete has been poured and it's curing. So we're getting there. Things are moving, and it's pretty cool to kind of peek in and see what's happening so far.
A lot of new housing right in that area too. So consider moving. You could live right across the street from Blue Jacket.
For a new
How
house.
bad could that be?
Yep.
If you've got a question for Greg, email us at beeroftheweek@wtop.com. Greg, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Everyone, please always do drink responsibly, and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another Beer of the Week.